Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on the differences between AI automation, augmentation, and process management and manufacturing. We're going to go through each of these. We usually do these once a month. We'll take about 15, 20 minutes. These are mostly meant to just be quick educational overviews of different topics in AI and manufacturing. And this one came up where people were saying, well, what's the difference between automation and augmentation? And like, let's go through this. So I'm going to go through a few slides around Praxis, not too salesy, but then we'll get into the meat of what the differences are between these and hopefully get some value out of that. So starting out about Praxis, we're an AI operations software platform. What we do is we basically pull data from all of the various data types you have in your system. Those could be ad hoc processes. They could be database processes, other things. We pull that data together. We then do deep AI analysis around your data and deliver, identify issues, root causes, and suggestions. I'll show you some of those. And then we'll turn those into automated and human-centric workflows where the AI pulls the information and basically gets you out of all this paper and ad hoc processes into AI-powered workflows and use cases that you can scale across your company. So that's what we do. We have over 150 out-of-the-box applications that can be tailored incredibly rapidly for what you're needing to do. The way to think about Praxis really is a kind of a command center that can, fill those gaps that are in Excel sheets and fill those applications, but also connect with your other data sets in your ERP or your machine data, et cetera, and give you those kind of analytical insights and operational execution applications that I mentioned earlier. So let's talk about AI automation and the differences between automation and augmentation and really process management. So the first one is automation. And the way to think about these automate repetitive tasks. These are a huge amount of AI right now is focused on this type of things. These can be rule-based processes in the general world that was called, there are companies like UiPath and others that do robotic process automation, RPA. But this is now being taken over by AI. It replaces manual processes, labor costs, and increases speed. We'll send you, by the way, you'll get access to this presentation. And you might have robotic arms and predictive maintenance, et cetera. So this is the kind of things these are the manual tasks that you currently have that you want to automate. And we have a agentic workflow environment that you can trigger automations that will do, and interact with third parties or use large language models like Gemini or connect to other AIs and then generate the automated outcomes. We have examples of that, like orders coming in via an email. It will take that order and automatically fill in your ERP data if you want, or other things like that. Those are the ways to think of these agentic workflows that automate processes. And we have an agentic backbone that allows us to do these types of automations. So that's a way to think of automations, these manual processes that go through flows that you create using agentic process mappers like this. And you can use Praxis. There are lots of tools that will do this type of automation. The next one is augmentation. So augmentation, you think of this as enhancing human capabilities with real-time data and decision support. Your human remains in control, but you get all kinds of insights and things that can help you. Dashboards, but the history about dashboards is a little aggravating. I mean, they've been around AI dashboard or digital dashboards for decades now. And you see an issue, and then there's generally a, hey, go tell somebody to get something done about this. The reality is that currently, you now can do these as operational and execution dashboards where the data is analyzed, but then you can take action. The system should be able to either trigger actions in an automated form, like generate a non-conformance report, or it should be able to give you options that you can take actions and track those actions in your system. I'm going to jump out of here and just show you some examples of augmentation. So if I'm in let's say this is a Gemba walk. So for those of you familiar with Gemba walks, basically what you're doing is going around and looking for waste. It's a lean process for doing that. So here's a digital form for doing Gemba walks, and you can select the type of waste you're trying to do. In this case, we're looking at motion, and you're going to the stations, and everything's digitized in a nice form versus trying to do these in notepads or Excel, et cetera. And you can even talk to this if you're on your iPad, and it'll fill in the data. So that's terrific. I've got a digital form. I can take pictures, etc. But now I'm augmenting the capability of the worker here by asking AI to generate a summary. Now, this summary gets generated using all of the data up here as well as the image data, and it generates a summary of the information and automatically sends that out to management. So, or whoever you want in your team. Then it basically looks at all of the issues that were captured, and it creates a list of suggested things to address the issues that were captured. So implement a 5S audit system, monitor performance on particular people, et cetera. So the idea here is that you're now augmenting the capability of that worker, that operator, with skills and understanding they didn't really have. The AI is acting as a coach and mentor to that person. And then once you edit these and say, I'm going to do these first four, you can get rid of those. It'll automatically generate a project plan for you. So you've augmented the actual workflow as well. So this is a good example of AI augmentation in a particular workflow in the day of the life of an operator who's running a Gemba walk. So that's pretty simple and straightforward kind of value proposition that you can get through augmentation. So that's augmentation. The last one is process management. So this is a more sort of the orchestration and optimizes the entire workflow using AI insights. It integrates data from different systems. This is really important because currently this is really problematic, getting all this data together. And I'll discuss a little bit about how we do it and how the ability to ingest and deal with multiple types of data is incredibly important to this process management. And then it can analyze data, find root causes, and suggest improvements. I'll walk quickly through an example of our solutions that can do this. Here's, I think this is it. Let's see here. No, that's the automation one. Here's one for downtime analysis. So what this is doing is it creates a downtime analysis. You're seeing here the AI is looking at all of the downtime and generating a dashboard around your downtime. Now, the way you can do this, you run these as individual analysis for each downtime or each period of time. So the way you do it is you ingest the data first. So in this case, we're pulling in files, but we also have the ability to generate these from a SQL connection. You can write the SQL connection and you can have it managed and run on a timed basis where it pulls the data in, or we have an API, open API connector where you can connect to any of your systems. So aggregating multiple types of data. So this is a downtime analysis, but often these types of analyses require data from very disparate systems. Cost of quality is a good example where you have the cost of the scrap, the cost of the rework, the cost of the warranty, the cost of replacement, the cost of customer dissatisfaction. Like all of these are in different databases. One might be in your customer service database, one might be in your manufacturing database, one might be in your quality database, et cetera. So being able to pull that data from multiple systems is really important. So you pull that data in, the AI then does a summary of the analysis of what it's found. Then it generates core root causes and gives you Pareto charts, et cetera. It then suggests solutions and then allows you to take action. So this is a good example of how you can use AI to do the analysis and root cause and process optimization and process management. Another one might be if I go to our command center here, in maintenance, you might have a particular tracking of machine data where in a critical maintenance issue, let me reset this. So basically what happens is data is coming in from different machines via, in this case, an MQTT feed. That information is then driving these charts, et cetera. This is a manual way to show it kind of how it works. But if I save this, you'll see that it's gone critical. It'll move up here past the mark of critical. That triggers an automated workflow that sends out notifications and best practice standard operating procedures and the ability for people to generate a maintenance work order or a non-conformance report, et cetera, et cetera. So this is an example of how AI is in the middle of managing a workflow process to help the operators of the facility, manage these things in a much better way. So to summarize, there's, again, sort of these three and how to think of them as an example, is automation replaces human monotonous and repetitive tasks, taking orders coming in from your system and entering that data automatically. In a medical sense, doing data entry in your medical office, all those types of things can be automated. Augmentation assists humans. Example, the AI-powered Gemba walk we showed you, where the AI is actually filling in the gaps in knowledge, helping that worker be more effective in actually doing that work. And the last one, in process management, really orchestrates full workflows and provides the detail analysis of those processes, et cetera. So those are the three that we wanted to cover today. I hope you guys found that useful. If you have any quick questions, you can type them in. Karen will ask them. We can go through that. Are there any questions? Okay. Well, if not, then you guys have a great rest of your week, and thanks for joining us.